Carla was a passionate teacher with a deep love for teaching and the small town in Minas Gerais that she called home. Her daily life was full of challenges, but also filled with small joys. As she left school, her students often greeted her with smiles and hugs, and this made her feel like she was truly making a difference in their lives. The sun was slowly setting on the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink as Carla walked home, reflecting on the day. That afternoon, she decided to stop at the lottery, something she had never done before. The idea of playing the Mega Sena came as a sudden whim. Why not? Just for fun, she thought, as she looked at the tickets in front of her. With a smile on her face, she randomly picked a few numbers and placed her bet. Little did she know that this small decision would change her life forever. When she got home, Carla made herself some coffee and sat at the table, observing the peaceful routine of her neighborhood. Donna Nena, her elderly neighbor, was sitting on her porch, tending to her plants. Carla had always admired the wisdom of this woman, who had lived through so many experiences and always had a wise piece of advice to offer. "Hi, Donna Nena," Carla greeted with a warm smile. "Hello, my dear. How was your day?" replied Donna Nena in her soft and comforting voice. "It was good. The students are so excited about art class. I'm thinking of organizing an exhibition at the end of the month," said Carla, as she poured herself a little more coffee. "That's wonderful. You have an amazing gift for inspiring them," praised Donna Nena as she gently stroked a flower. Carla felt warmed by the compliment and at that moment decided it was just another ordinary day, like so many others. However, the whim she had at the lottery was beginning to plant a seed of change in her heart. A week passed, and Carla's routine remained calm. On that Friday morning, she gathered with her friends for coffee at the small diner in town. Laughter echoed through the room as they shared stories and confidences. Carla cherished these moments of relaxation and friendship. "You won't believe what happened to me in class yesterday," said Julia, one of the friends, as everyone leaned in to listen. The friends laughed and exchanged glances, creating an air of anticipation. Tell us," Carla encouraged, smiling. "One of the students asked me to help him with a project about carnivorous plants. He was so excited that I couldn't resist making a video with him. Now he wants to create a mini exhibition at school," Julia explained. The friends clapped, and Carla felt happy to see Julia's enthusiasm. But suddenly, her phone vibrated on the table, interrupting the moment. When she looked at the screen, she realized it was a message from the lottery app. Her heart raced. "Why would I be getting a message now?" she thought, puzzled. "Sorry, girls. I need to check this," Carla said, stepping away from the table. As she opened the message, her eyes widened in disbelief. It was the confirmation. She had won the Mega Sena. The prize was so large that her mind could barely process the information. A chill ran down her spine, and the words seemed to dance on the screen. "Carla, are you okay?" Anna, her closest friend, asked, noticing the shocked expression on her face. I won the lottery," Carla finally managed to say, her voice trembling with emotion. The friends immediately stopped talking and stared at her, as if she had just revealed an extraordinary secret. "What? You're joking," Julia exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "No, it's real. Look," Carla said, showing them the message on her phone. The silence was soon overtaken by a wave of joy. The friends started jumping and shouting, as if they had won the prize too. "What are you going to do now? Travel? Buy a house?" Anna asked, full of enthusiasm. "I don't know. It's all so unexpected," Carla replied, still in shock. Despite the joy, there was a small shadow of concern forming in her mind. She remembered stories of people who had won the lottery and how their lives had changed, often for the worse. But for now, she decided to set those thoughts aside and enjoy the moment. As time passed, the friends' celebration turned into plans. Carla began to daydream about everything she could do. The idea of buying a bigger house, helping her family, and even traveling across Brazil filled her with excitement. Yet at the same time, a doubt started to emerge. How would this new life affect her friendships? Meanwhile, social media became a new space for Carla to share her happiness. She posted a photo with her friends, all smiling, with the caption, "Life is full of surprises. I can't wait to see what the future holds." To her surprise, the reaction was overwhelming. Congratulations flooded her page, but so did messages from people she barely knew. "Carla, you're a celebrity now," Anna joked, looking at Carla's phone as the two walked back home. "Yeah, it seems like fame comes along with fortune," Carla replied, unsure if she should feel excited or apprehensive. What had once been a simple routine was now beginning to transform into something entirely different. Carla was still thrilled about the idea of fulfilling her dreams, but the shadow of uncertainty about people's true intentions started to loom. She could only hope that the luck that found her wouldn't bring along a burden she wasn't ready to bear. But for now, Carla decided to ride the wave of luck that had smiled upon her, believing that life was rewarding her for all the dedication and love she had always put into her work. Tomorrow was a new blank page, and she was ready to write it. As the days went by, Carla's life turned into an emotional roller coaster. The euphoria of winning the lottery still pulsed in her heart, but the reality around her began to shift in subtle yet noticeable ways. It was as if a fog of uncertainty was spreading, clouding the bonds that once seemed unbreakable. On that sunny morning, Carla decided to invite Tiago over for lunch at her new house. The kitchen, now equipped with the latest appliances and decorated with a touch of sophistication, was a reflection of her new life. Yet, as she looked at the walls adorned with paintings and photographs, a wave of nostalgia washed over her. She remembered the casual conversations she used to have with Tiago in her old home, where the smell of fresh coffee and the warmth of human connection were what truly mattered. "Hey, Tay!" Carla exclaimed as she saw Tiago walk through the door. He had a concerned expression, one that didn't go unnoticed by her. "You don't seem as cheerful as usual. Is everything okay?" "Hey, Carla," Tiago replied, forcing a smile. "I'm just a little tired, that's all." He sat at the table, taking in the delicious spread that Carla had lovingly prepared. "Wow, this looks like a 5-star restaurant meal." Carla laughed, trying to lighten the mood. "It's just a simple lunch. I'm no chef, but I've picked up a few things from online videos. You have to try the feijão tropeiro. It's one of my specialties." As they ate, the conversation flowed with laughter and memories, but Tiago couldn't shake the feeling that something was changing. He decided to bring up a delicate but necessary topic. "You know, Carla, I've noticed some people have been getting close to you, people who didn't seem to care before. Are you sure they have good intentions?" Carla frowned, feeling a little defensive. "Tiago, I understand your concern, but I'm just making new friends. That's normal, right? Now that I have a bit more financial freedom, people seem more open to getting to know me. But are they really interested in you or in what you can offer?" Tiago pressed, his voice a mix of worry and affection. "I just don't want you to get hurt. You're overreacting." "I know these people and I can take care of myself, Tiago," Carla responded, trying to stay calm. "Life's too short to worry about who's genuine or not. I just want to enjoy it." A silence hung over the table for a moment, and Tiago remembered how many times he had supported Carla's decisions, even when he didn't fully agree. He sighed, knowing there was no point in pushing further. "I just hope you don't forget about the people who really matter in your life. I'll always be here whenever you need me." After lunch, Carla decided to organize a party at her new house. She wanted to celebrate her achievements and at the same time gather friends and acquaintances. Social media was flooded with invitations, and the anticipation filled her mind. However, in the days leading up to the event, a sense of anxiety began to form in her stomach. The idea of exposing herself to a large number of people, including some she didn't know well, left her feeling uneasy. On the day of the party, her house looked stunning. The decorative lights sparkled, and upbeat music echoed through the halls. Carla was elegantly dressed, but she still felt a bit out of place. She forced herself to keep smiling, but the presence of Lucas, a former student who had always had a crush on her, made her uneasy. He was charismatic and attractive, but his looks seemed more intense than usual. "Carla, you look amazing." Lucas greeted her with a smile that could melt anyone's heart. "The house is incredible. You've really outdone yourself." "Thank you, Lucas. I'm glad you came," Carla replied, trying to keep the conversation light. "And you, how have you been? What have you been up to since graduation?" Lucas moved a little closer, as if trying to create a more intimate atmosphere, and began talking about his plans and dreams, constantly intertwining compliments to Carla. "You've always been an inspiration to me. I've always admired your determination. You definitely deserve all this success." Meanwhile, Tiago watched from a distance, his heart tightening as he observed their interaction. He didn't like the way Lucas looked at Carla, as if he saw her as a prize to be won. When Carla turned to grab more drinks, Tiago decided to approach her. "Hey, Carla, can I talk to you for a moment?" he asked, pulling her aside to a more private corner. "Sure. What's going on?" Carla asked, noticing the seriousness in Tiago's tone. "I don't like the way Lucas is behaving. I don't trust him. He has a history of manipulation, and you should be careful," Tiago said, concern evident in his voice. "Tiago, you're overreacting. He's just a friend. You don't need to be so dramatic," Carla replied, feeling irritated. "You're being possessive, and I don't like that. It's not possessiveness, it's protection. I just want what's best for you," he insisted, frustration building. "You're surrounded by people who only want to take advantage of your kindness. Don't let that happen." Carla pulled away, frustrated. She wanted to enjoy the moment of celebration, but Tiago's words echoed in her mind, creating an internal battle between excitement and doubt. She decided to ignore the warnings and immerse herself in the joy of the moment. The party continued, and the conversations intensified. Carla laughed and danced, trying to push away the dark thoughts that haunted her. But deep down, a small part of her couldn't ignore the growing unease with each interaction she had with Lucas. He seemed to always be lurking, ready for the next opportunity to get closer. Later, while the party was in full swing, Carla found herself talking to Donna Nena, her elderly neighbor who had always brought wisdom and warmth into her life. Nena was sitting comfortably, observing the people around her, her eyes reflecting a mix of joy and concern. "Carla, dear, you look so happy, but I sense that something is bothering you. You know you can always count on me, right?" Donna Nena asked, her voice soft and comforting. "I know, Donna Nena. It's just that sometimes I feel like things have changed too fast. Some people seem more interested in what I have than in who I am," Carla confessed, staring at the floor. "Oh, my dear, money can bring many changes, but what truly matters are the people who stand by you no matter the circumstances," Nena said, gently holding Carla's hand. "Don't forget about them. Those are the people who truly matter." "I'll try to remember that," Carla replied, a sad smile on her lips. "I just hope I'm not leaving the right people behind." The party continued late into the night, but despite the music and the excitement, Carla couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. As the guests began to leave, she bid them farewell with a smile, but her heart felt heavy. Tiago said his goodbyes, but before leaving he looked her in the eyes and said, "Promise me you'll take care of yourself, Carla. I'm worried about you." She nodded, but the doubt still lingered in her mind. The night ended, and Carla sat alone on the sofa, surrounded by the silence that once felt comforting, but now made the loneliness more palpable than ever. She wondered if she was truly surrounded by friends, or if she was losing herself in a crowd of self-interested people. Donna Nena's words echoed in her mind, and as she looked out the window at the city lights flickering in the distance, Carla realized that true fortune wasn't in the wealth she had just acquired, but in the relationships she nurtured, and how she chose to surround herself with people who truly valued her. The atmosphere in Carla's house was tense, and she could barely notice it. The joy that once surrounded her after winning the lottery now felt like a distant echo. Sitting at the dinner table, surrounded by people she barely knew, Carla watched the forced smiles and superficial conversations around her. There was something about those faces that unsettled her, an underlying expectation that made her feel more alone than ever. That night, Tiago decided it was time to act. He had been watching her from afar, noticing how she had drifted away from true friendships, and was now increasingly surrounded by people who seemed only interested in her fortune. He couldn't stay silent any longer. After dinner, as the guests dispersed, Tiago approached Carla, his gaze firm and filled with concern. "Carla, we need to talk," he said, placing a hand on her shoulder. His voice was serious, and Carla felt a chill in her stomach. "Talk? About what, Tiago?" she replied, trying to keep a light tone but without success. The smile that used to shine on her face was absent. "About Lucas." Tiago hesitated for a moment but decided to continue. "I know you like him, but I don't trust the guy. He has a history of manipulation that you need to be aware of." Carla frowned, surprised by the accusation. Lucas had always treated her with attention and care, things she hadn't experienced in a long time. It was hard to believe that he might have ulterior motives. "Tiago, you don't know him. He's been so kind to me." Carla started, but Tiago interrupted her. "Kind? Or is he just trying to get close to you because of the money?" Tiago's tone was insistent, and Carla could see the concern in his eyes. "I don't want you to get hurt. I know you care about me, but I can't live in fear. I'm happy now, Tiago. I can't just push aside the people around me," Carla replied defensively. "It's not about fear, Carla. It's about protecting yourself. You need to open your eyes." He sighed, searching for the right words. "I just want you to see the truth. You deserve people who really care about you, not those who are after your money." Carla remained silent, slowly shaking her head. Tiago's words echoed in her mind, but she was reluctant to accept the reality. After all, Lucas seemed different. He made her laugh, made her feel special in a world that now seemed so superficial. That night, as she prepared for bed, Carla couldn't shake off the conversation she'd had with Tiago. She sat on the edge of her bed, reflecting on the past few weeks. The feeling of loneliness had been growing each day, even though she was surrounded by new friends who praised and flocked around her at parties. The allure of fame was starting to lose its charm, and doubts haunted her. The next morning, while having coffee, she received a text message from Donna Nena. Carla's heart sank as she read that her neighbor was ill. It was the first time the elderly woman had mentioned anything like that, and Carla immediately felt guilty. In recent months, she had distanced herself from Donna Nena, too caught up in her new life, new people, and new responsibilities. "Carla, dear, I'm feeling a little under the weather. If you can, come visit me. I miss you." The words weighed heavily on Carla. She quickly got up from the table, determined to visit Donna Nena. She grabbed a light jacket and headed out, her heart racing. Upon arriving, she noticed the door was slightly ajar. She knocked gently and entered. "Donna Nena," she called out, her voice echoing in the quiet room. From the other side, her neighbor's frail voice responded. "I'm here, dear, in the living room." Carla walked into the living room and found Donna Nena sitting in her favorite armchair, a blanket draped over her legs. The elderly woman's gaze was tired, but when she saw Carla, her face lit up with a smile. "What a joy to see you, Carla," exclaimed Donna Nena, trying to stand up, but Carla stopped her. "Don't get up, Donna Nena. How are you?" Carla asked, concerned. "Oh, just a little cold, dear. Don't worry about me. What matters is that you came to visit." Donna Nena's voice was soft, but Carla could see the weakness in her expression. "I'm so sorry I didn't come sooner. I've been so busy." Carla hesitated, the word busy feeling empty on her lips. "I understand. But remember, true friends don't just disappear like that," said Donna Nena, looking deeply into Carla's eyes. "You've gotten so caught up in this new world that you've forgotten about the ones who truly care about you." The elderly woman's words cut like a knife. Carla felt the weight of the truth pressing on her heart. She had distanced herself from Donna Nena, from Tiago, from the people who genuinely loved her. What was supposed to be a life full of joy had become a series of superficial encounters where authenticity was scarce. "You're right, Donna Nena. I let the money blind me. I was so excited about everything." Carla couldn't hold back the tears that began to stream down her face. "I didn't realize how much I was distancing myself from the people who really care." Donna Nena reached out and held Carla's hand, offering comfort. "My dear, money can bring many things, but it can't buy love, care, or true friendship. You need to cherish the people who truly matter," she said, with a glimmer of wisdom in her eyes. Carla nodded, feeling a knot unravel inside her. The conversation with Donna Nena made her realize that her happiness didn't depend on wealth or fame, but on the people around her. "Thank you, Donna Nena. I promise I'll try to be a better friend," Carla said, with determination growing inside her. "That's all I want, my dear." Donna Nena smiled, seeming more energized. "Now, let's make some tea and catch up." As they prepared the tea, Carla felt lighter. Life's lessons were finally starting to make sense. The real wealth, she realized, was in the relationships we cultivate over time. And with that, she let go of the idea of being alone in a crowd of strangers. That afternoon, Carla left Donna Nena's house with a renewed heart. The elderly woman's words stayed with her as she walked back home, and she decided it was time to reevaluate her priorities. The money may have changed her life, but it couldn't change who she truly was. Upon arriving home, Carla made a list of the people who truly mattered in her life and decided she would find a way to reconnect with each one of them. Luck was finally starting to make sense. She had lost sight of what truly mattered, but she was determined not to let that happen again. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Carla decided it was time to rekindle her friendships. Weeks had passed since she had distanced herself from them, absorbed in a new world filled with people who had never shown interest in her life before. The idea of hosting a dinner excited her, but also made her nervous. What if they saw her as a stranger now? Or worse, what if the conversation was awkward? Even so, the teacher took a deep breath and began planning. That evening, the dining table was filled with colorful and fragrant dishes. Carla had prepared her favorite recipes, the ones that always pleased her friends, a hearty lasagna and a fresh salad with a special dressing she had learned from Donna Nena. As she set the silverware, her mind wandered. She thought of the laughter, the confidences, and how those memories now seemed distant. Tiago, her best friend, had been a constant support, always trying to warn her about the new friendships that had entered her life. But Carla had been so caught up in her new status that she couldn't see the truth. The sound of the doorbell snapped her out of her thoughts. It was Anna, one of her closest friends, who arrived with a radiant smile. "Hey, Carla, what's that amazing smell?" she exclaimed as she entered. Right behind her came the others, Julia, the outgoing one, and Luana, the quietest of the group. They brought bottles of wine, a generous offering for the night. "Hi, girls. Come on in. Make yourselves at home." Carla smiled, though she felt a tightness in her chest. The room was full of life, but there was a sense of unfamiliarity. They sat at the table, and as they served themselves, the atmosphere gradually began to warm up. "So how's life for the rich and famous?" Julia joked, winking. The tone was slightly sarcastic, but Carla noticed a hint of concern in her voice. "Well, I'm still adjusting, actually. Sometimes it feels like everything changed so fast," Carla replied, trying to keep the tone light. "But hey, I made the lasagna you all love." The conversation shifted to food, and as the plates were cleared, the laughter began to flow. After the meal, Carla decided it was time to open her heart. "Girls, I know I've been a little distant. The truth is, with this whole lottery thing, I don't know. I feel like I've lost a bit of control," she said, looking into each of their eyes. "You can always count on us, Carla. Fame and money don't change who you are," Anna said, holding her friend's hand. "We just want the best for you. But what about these new people? Some of them seem more interested in your money than in you," Luana added hesitantly, as if afraid to offend. Carla felt a chill in her stomach as she thought of Lucas. I know. But I really thought he cared. He makes me feel special," Carla said, her voice breaking. "And I feel so lonely sometimes." Tiago, who had been quiet until then, decided to step in. "Carla, I just want you to remember the people who have always been by your side. Lucas may seem charming, but you need to be careful with him. I don't trust him." The mood at the table shifted. Silence fell, and Carla felt the tension rise. "You're just jealous, Tiago. You can't expect me to cut someone out of my life just because you don't trust them," she responded defensively. "It's not jealousy, Carla. It's concern," Tiago retorted, his voice rising. "I've seen how he acts. He's not who you think he is." "So you think I'm that naive?" Carla felt the anger rising. "I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions. But you're not thinking clearly. Look around you. Sometimes you need to listen to the people who truly care about you," Tiago insisted, his voice heavy with emotion. Carla abruptly stood up, her chair scraping against the floor. "I don't want to discuss this. I'm trying to make peace with all of you, and all I'm getting is distrust." The friends remained silent, watching the tension between them grow. Anna, sensing the gravity of the situation, tried to intervene. "Come on, guys, this isn't what we're here for. We're here to have fun. Carla, sit down. Let's just relax." Carla took a deep breath, trying to control her anger and frustration. "I'm sorry, I just want us to go back to how we were before. I miss that." Her words touched their hearts, and the tension began to ease. "We miss you too, Carla," Julia replied, softening her tone. "But you need to be aware of what's happening around you." The conversation continued a little longer, but the seed of discord had been planted. Carla couldn't stop thinking about Tiago's words. He had always been by her side, and suddenly she found herself in a dilemma. Should she trust her longtime friend or the new relationship she was building? As the night finally came to an end, Carla began clearing the table, her heart heavy. Her friends helped, but the atmosphere was different. They were worried, and that disturbed her. Before they said their goodbyes, Tiago pulled her aside. "Carla, I just want you to protect yourself. If you need me, I'll be here." She smiled, but couldn't respond. Tiago's words echoed in her mind, and the anguish of not knowing who to trust followed her. As soon as her friends left, Carla sat alone in the living room, surrounded by empty plates and wine glasses. The house was quiet, but the internal chaos felt deafening. That night, as she tried to sleep, Carla picked up her phone and saw a message that made her shudder. It was from Lucas. The message was short but carried a threatening tone. "You shouldn't have listened to Tiago. He's not your friend. I am." A feeling of panic washed over her. The smile that once lit up her face had now turned into a mask of worry. Carla remembered Tiago's warnings and her friends' concerns. She didn't know what to do. Lucas's presence had become a shadow over her life, and the idea that he was only in her life for personal gain left her even more distressed. The next day brought more uncertainty. Carla decided she needed to talk to Tiago again. He would be the only person who could understand what she was going through. But at the same time, part of her wondered if she could still trust him after everything that had happened the night before. As she got ready for the day, she decided that, no matter what, she needed to take action. She couldn't let the fear of Lucas control her. After all, the fortune of having true friends was something she couldn't afford to lose. She took a deep breath, determined to face the situation head-on. Yet Lucas's message still lingered over her like a dark cloud, waiting to reveal its true weight. The tension hung in the air like a thick fog that refused to lift. Carla felt increasingly pressured by the circumstances surrounding her. The echoes of her conversations with Tiago and Donna Nena reverberated in her mind, but she still struggled to accept the truth. Lucas was not who he claimed to be. As her former student gradually distanced himself, Carla's life began to feel like a maze of uncertainties. One morning, as she walked towards the school, her thoughts were far away. The day was sunny, but the joy she usually felt working with her students seemed distant. As she opened the school door, a sense of apprehension washed over her. She took a deep breath, trying to push away the dark clouds gathering in her mind. But as she stepped out of the classroom, a sight froze her in place. Lucas was there, leaning against the car parked in front of the school. His gaze was intense, almost predatory. Carla hesitated, her heart racing. He smiled when he saw her, but the smile didn't carry warmth. It was a mask hiding something darker. "Hi, Carla," he said, his voice smooth, almost seductive. "I've been thinking about you. Can we talk?" She hesitated, her instincts warning her to stay away, but curiosity and the need to resolve the situation kept her rooted in place. "What do you want, Lucas?" she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "I just want to clear a few things up," he said, stepping closer. "You know, I really care about you. It's not easy watching you pull away from me. I distance myself because you're not who I thought you were," Carla responded, her words firmer than she felt. "You need to understand that I can't trust you." Lucas frowned, the smile fading from his face. "Trust? Do you really think you can just walk away from someone who cares about you? I thought we were friends." "Real friends don't try to manipulate others," Carla said, her voice growing stronger. "I'm not your property. I'm not interested in your intentions." He looked at her with a mix of anger and disdain. "You're going to regret this behavior, Carla. I promise you I'm not giving up that easily." Those words echoed like a warning in her mind. She took a step back, feeling a chill run down her spine. "If you really cared, you would respect my decision to not talk to you." Lucas stepped forward, now just inches from her. "And if I don't respect it, what are you going to do? Do you really think you can get rid of me that easily?" Adrenaline surged through Carla, and in that moment she decided she wouldn't let herself be intimidated. "I'll call the police, Lucas. If you don't leave now, I'll do it." He laughed, a cold, threatening laugh. "Do you think that's going to solve anything? You have no idea who you're dealing with." At that moment, Carla's heart pounded. She remembered Tiago and the promise she had made to herself to be stronger. With a quick movement, she pulled her phone from her bag and began dialing the police. "You're not going to do that," Lucas said, his tone now full of tension. "If you report me, you'll regret it. No one's going to believe you." Before she could finish dialing, a car screeched to a halt beside her. It was Tiago, who had noticed the tense situation and rushed to help. He got out of the car, concern written all over his face. "Carla, what's going on here?" Tiago exclaimed, spotting Lucas. Tiago's presence brought temporary relief, but the tension continued to build. Carla looked at Lucas, who now seemed less confident. "Lucas was threatening me," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "This has nothing to do with you, Tiago," Lucas retorted, trying to maintain his composure. "We were just talking." "Talking? This looks more like intimidation," Tiago responded firmly. "If you don't leave now, I'll call the police, and it won't just be Carla filing a report." Carla watched the confrontation between the two men, feeling torn. She knew Tiago was only trying to protect her, but the situation made her anxious. Lucas, realizing he had lost the upper hand, slowly began to back away, but not without one final threatening look. "You'll regret this, Carla," he said before turning and leaving, his car roaring as he sped away. As Lucas disappeared around the corner, Carla let out a deep sigh, the tension that had gripped her starting to ease. Tiago approached her, concerned. "Are you okay?" I don't know," she replied, her voice shaky. "He was so different. I can't believe he turned into this." Tiago shook his head, his expression serious. "He was never trustworthy, Carla. I tried to warn you, but you were so caught up in the attention you were getting. You need to remember who's really by your side." Carla felt the weight of Tiago's words. "I know, Tiago. And now I realize how much I let vanity blind me. I just wanted to be accepted, but it pushed me away from the people who truly care." Tiago looked at her with compassion. "Life can be cruel, but you're not alone. I'll always be here to support you, no matter what happens." "Thank you, Tiago. I really appreciate it, more than you know," Carla said, feeling tears well up in her eyes. "I don't want to lose you like I've lost so many others. You won't, as long as you stay true to yourself and to others. We'll face this together," he replied, holding her hand protectively. In that moment, Carla realized that despite the challenges wealth had brought, the true value of her life lay in the friendships that sustained her. She was no longer willing to let anyone come between her and the people who truly loved her. As they walked together toward the school, Carla felt that a new chapter was about to begin. The fight wasn't over, but now she knew she had someone by her side, someone who would help her weather any storm that might come. And that in itself was a relief and a blessing. After Lucas was arrested, Carla felt an enormous weight lift from her shoulders. The tension that had built up over the past few weeks was now replaced with a new perspective on life. She had learned the hard way that true wealth wasn't in her bank account, but in the human connections she cultivated. Determined to start over, she began using part of her fortune to help her community. Her first initiative was to organize a tutoring program for underprivileged children in the area. With her experience as a teacher, Carla knew exactly how to make a difference in these children's lives. In the days that followed, Carla spent hours planning the project. She reached out to former colleagues and held meetings with the school staff. Tiago, always by her side, volunteered to help with the outreach. "You know this is going to do so much good for these kids, right?" he said, smiling. Carla returned the smile, feeling grateful to have such a loyal friend. "Yes, Tiago. I just hope the parents are interested and that we can really reach the children who need it the most." With Tiago's support and the collaboration of other teachers, the project began to take shape. Carla organized a charity event to raise funds and collect school supplies. That night, the atmosphere was one of excitement and solidarity. Friends, family, and community members gathered to support the cause. As she walked into the hall, Carla felt emotional seeing both familiar and new faces, all there for a greater purpose. When it was time for her speech, Carla took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. The light shone on her, and she could see the eager faces in front of her. "Good evening, everyone. I'm here today not just as a teacher, but as someone who has learned the hard way the true value of friendship and community. After everything I've been through, I realize that what truly matters are the people around us. And that's why we're here tonight, to help our children have a better future." The audience applauded, and Carla felt warmth in her heart. "I almost lost this, almost let fame and money pull me away from what truly matters. But today, I'm here to give back. Let's join forces and help these children shine." Hearing Carla's words, Tiago smiled, proud of his friend. He knew that despite all the difficulties, Carla had found herself again. After the speech, Donna Nena, who was sitting in the front row, stood up with difficulty and asked to speak. "May I say a few words, my dear?" she asked, looking at Carla with the wisdom that always characterized her. Carla nodded, and Donna Nena approached the microphone. "Carla, you've always been a light in people's lives. Seeing you here today fills me with joy. True luck, my child, is having friends and people who care. You are not just a teacher, but a true heroine for these children. Keep following this beautiful path, and remember, I will always be by your side, cheering you on." Tears welled up in Carla's eyes. She remembered all the moments she had shared with Donna Nena, their conversations on the porch, and how her neighbor had always encouraged her to follow her dreams. "Thank you, Donna Nena. Your words mean everything to me," Carla responded, her voice thick with emotion. That night, the event was a success. The donations exceeded expectations, and Carla realized that the community was united around a common goal: to change lives. As the evening came to an end, she and Tiago sat at a table, admiring the results of their hard work. "I knew you could do it, Carla. You've always had that special spark," Tiago said, as she served a slice of cake. "Now we can make a difference in so many children's lives. It's amazing to think that after everything, I'm back to what I truly love," Carla replied, gazing at the horizon. "I wish I had realized it sooner. but maybe I had to go through all that to understand. Thiago's gaze softened. Yes, and the important thing is that you learned. Don't let the past define you. Keep doing what you do best, and don't forget the people who truly care about you. In that moment, Carla felt stronger than ever. The love and support of Thiago and Donna Nena were the foundation upon which she could build her new life. Their friendship was a treasure that no amount of money could ever buy. After the event, Carla continued to work tirelessly on the project. She organized classes, invited other teachers to participate, and gradually saw the children begin to get excited about learning. With every smile and every bit of progress, Carla's heart filled with joy. One day, while at the school, one of the children approached her. "Teacher Carla, I brought you a drawing I made." The little girl, with curly hair and bright eyes, proudly handed her the paper. Carla looked at the drawing and saw a depiction of herself with a big smile, surrounded by children. "It's beautiful. You're such a talented artist," Carla praised, her eyes shining. "Thank you, teacher. You're the best," the girl replied, and Carla realized that despite all the challenges, she had found her purpose again. As days turned into weeks, Carla became more and more dedicated to her work. She and Thiago became inseparable, and their friendship blossomed even further. They often took small walks after work, discussing future plans and reminiscing about funny childhood memories. One day, while walking, Thiago said, "You know, Carla, I'm so happy you've found your way again. You're an inspiration to all of us." "Thank you, Thiago. You always believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself." "You're a priceless friend," Carla replied with a sincere smile. Finally, on a sunny morning, Carla received a message from Donna Nena. It was a simple one. "Good morning, my dear. I hope you're doing well. True fortune is having friends by our side." Carla smiled as she read the words, feeling blessed to have such special people in her life. She realized that she had overcome the challenges and was now ready for a new chapter. With friends by her side and a renewed sense of purpose, Carla was determined to move forward, living life with gratitude and love. The journey wouldn't be easy, but now she knew that, no matter the difficulties, the true value of life lay in the relationships she had built and the memories she had created. That's what really mattered. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope this story touched your heart and made you reflect on the importance of human connections. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Radio Life Stories, for more inspiring and heartfelt stories that remind us of what truly matters. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and let us know if you've ever experienced something similar. Your participation means the world to us.